Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's going to be a little bit of a different video today. I beat Final Fantasy VIII a few weeks ago, and when I beat Omega Weapon on Memorial Day weekend, and I wanted to talk about it for a second. Now, I've never really done a video like this before, I don't think. I think I did something like this with Uncharted sometime last summer. But since I was playing Final Fantasy VIII for the channel since February, I was like, let's just talk about Final Fantasy VIII for this video, just to go over a little review here. So I first played Final Fantasy VIII, I think it was in middle school, and this was like after watching my brother play like a couple of years earlier. I got the disc too, but I had to stop. It was at the end of the missile base mission, and the Balam Garden was trying to dodge the missile. So when that mission was done, and then you had to go outside the garden, there's a cinematic scene that starts, and my game froze. It froze on this one spot. I still remember these two birds that were just stuck on my screen. the two birds stuck on my wide back TV screen, right? And I could not get past that part. I tried cleaning the disc over and over again with like peroxide or whatever, and I kept going back and back, and nothing changed, and I had to give up. There was nothing I could do. All right, so fast forward to 2015, and I'm thinking, let's play Final Fantasy VIII again, right? And this time, because I wasn't playing the PlayStation anymore, I didn't have a backwards compatible PS2, so I was like, my PS2 was broken. I didn't have a backwards compatible PS3, excuse me. So I was like, all right, let's play it this time on my old laptop, a laptop that I had, and I had Steam, right? So I was like, all right, let's play Final Fantasy VIII again. And this time, of course, I was able to get through the game since there was no disc. And I thought it was fine. It definitely felt like, oh, this game is not as good as I remember. It was like I still enjoyed like the gameplay, but I felt kind of let down by the story a little bit, but definitely Squall. All right, so Final Fantasy VIII is about a group of like these student mercenaries or student military kids at this mercenary military school called Balam Garden. Was it Balam Garden? Balam Garden. Our main character is Squall Leonhardt. He's the standout student in Balam Garden. So Squall is tasked with leading his fellow mercenary students to take down Edea. And Edea is this sorceress who gained control of a massive military power. And she is so fine. Well, she kind of fine though. Damn, son, you hiring, lady? All right, so when I played Final Fantasy VIII 10 years ago, I thought Squall was whiny and so annoying. This is a very moody guy. Like, anytime he would talk, I would just roll my eyes and just be like, bro, shut up. Like, the dude was so annoying. I could not take him, okay? I just hated the guy. I don't know, I think maybe I just wanted him to be cooler. Maybe I wanted him to be, I don't know, just more chill, but like, he's a teenager, right? In the game, he's a teenager, so of course, like, teenagers are gonna act that way. But it's still like, god damn, shut up. Now, as for the story, when back in 2015, I thought it was fine. Like, I was cool with it up until Disc 1 at the parade and the assassination attempt. And after that, I was kind of like, I was cooling off of it. I just thought it was just okay. By the time I reached like Trabia Garden and Edea's house, turned off by it, and I just, for some reason, just didn't like it. And it was definitely the plot twist at Edea's house. I didn't like it at all. And now I still don't really like it, but like then I definitely didn't like it. I was like, this shit is, And also, I'm some spoilers in here. Some spoilers, so just be careful. Now, today, as of a few weeks ago, it's kind of flipped now. Like, I appreciate the story a little bit more, and I definitely appreciate Squall more now. But the gameplay, not as much. Now, not necessarily like fighting or the battling, but junctioning. Final Fantasy VIII, I think is like the first mainline Final Fantasy VIII to sort of deviate from the standard RPG battle system. You know, like just having like HP, like MP, basic attack, you know, etc. I think this is the first time they kind of got away from it a little bit to try something new. So in FF8, they introduced a system called junctioning. And among fans, it's kind of polarizing. So I'm going to try to explain. So like, this is not my strong suit here. I'm going to try to explain it. So if I mess up, my bad. My bad in advance, y'all. So in FF8's junction system, you junction magic with the character's attributes to raise your stats. So magic works differently in this game. They're kind of like items. Instead of using MP and having magic points, you sort of have magic in stock. So like you have like 4 or 5 like Fire-Ragas, and then so if you use Fire-Raga, you have 4 or 5 Fire-Ragas left. So when you junction, the more of a magic spell you have in stock, you know, that's, you know, connected to an attribute, the stronger that attribute is. For example, if you junction Blizzaga with strength, the more Blizzaga you have in stock, the greater your strength is. You can even junction like for status effects. So there's something called status attack, right? So with Quistis one time, she had 100 of the magic spell death. So she had 100 in stock for death. And I attached junctioned death with status attack. So there was a point where she was just like one-shotting a lot of enemies because I had so much death in stock under status attack, and it was connected to my her regular attack. She was just one-shotting dudes all the time, and it was pretty crazy. And the thing is, you can actually become really strong really early if you grind for a little while. Like, leveling up doesn't really mean much, really. Like, you can level up, but it's like, it's all about how you junction. So that was my problem, because I had a level 90-something Squall doing very, very minimal damage to Cypher late in the game, and it was a little embarrassing. I actually deleted a TikTok or a YouTube short or an IG reel because like it was doing so little damage, and people were commenting on it. I was like, you know, I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't want to do this anymore. Thankfully, you know, there is an auto feature, and the computer or the game kind of just does it for you, so you won't have to like waste, you know, any time to do it. But if you do want to face stronger optional bosses, you may have to figure out things yourself, or just like, you know, find a walkthrough. You know, if you're trying to beat Omega Weapon, Ultima Weapon and stuff. But if you're just going through the base game or whatever, and just going through the main story, you can probably just use auto, and you know, you'll be fine. So since magic is like items, right? You have them in stock. You can obviously run out of magic. Now, how do you get magic in Final Fantasy VIII? One way is there is an ability called Draw, which I hate with the power of 1,000 suns. Now, you can use Draw in battle, or there are draw points in different areas of the game, and you can just draw different, you know, magic spells from enemies and that draw point. But it's very tedious, and it's very boring, and I hate it. So my biggest issue with the draw ability is when it comes to acquiring summons or guardian forces, GFs in this game, not your girlfriend. So to acquire GFs, you have to draw from bosses, right? And if you forget to draw, that GF is gone forever. And I hate that. There were too many times where I was too far into a boss fight. Now, I got all the GFs. I got all of them, right? But there were a few times where I got far into the boss fight, and I was like, oh, let me draw this summon before I, like, lose it forever, right? Because summons in Final Fantasy VIII are really, really important. And it's so easy to skip over a lot of these GFs. So drawing wasn't great, you know, and thankfully, I think they just got rid of that after Final Fantasy VIII. I hate it. I never want to see it again. Thankfully, the reliance on drawing decreases as you get more Guardian Forces. See, GFs can learn different abilities after gaining AP or ability points, winning battles if they are equipped to a character. Like, a lot of these abilities create items and magic spells, and you refine them with rare items that you find throughout your journey. Now, the opinion of the junction system has always been split, you know, among the fan base. Like, you know, no one knows. Like, some people think it's good, others think they suck, you know, they like it, I don't like it, da 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 da. And for me in the beginning, Now, for me in the beginning, I had a hard time understanding it. I was like, I don't get it. And it's actually not hard to understand, but the tutorial could have been better. Like, I have a hard time retaining information if the information is being dumped on me, you know? I kind of want to be thrown into the fire a little bit, kind of, you know, ease into it, as opposed to somebody, you know, whatever, just info dumping all of that stuff on me. It's like, okay, this is too much information and I'm not going to retain a lot of this. And with Final Fantasy VIII, they just throw all these abbreviations, all these terms, and it's like, the way it's coming off, it's like I don't want to say they expect you to know, but it's like, it's just a lot. And this is even before the Fire Cavern started, which is the first cave of the game. If this was rolled out, you know, in parts, while also, you know, maybe explaining during a battle, but even though I don't think that really makes much sense with this system, it's like, if this was like just eased into a little bit better, I think this would have been a little more well received, at least for me. Because if I gotta watch a whole bunch of menu boxes, tutorial boxes go on and on and on and on and on, I'm not gonna fuck with it, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, the tutorial's always there in Balamb Garden and stuff in the menu, and it's like, bro, I don't want to have to do all, like, I don't want to say I don't want to have to do all that. This could have been done a little bit better, okay? Now, some people did understand it immediately, and they got incredibly overpowered very early in the game. They caught on that levels don't matter, and they kind of broke the system, you know, collecting playing cards, modifying them, and collecting, refining items into the magic they have junctioned. Like, some of these people who kind of understood it got powerful very quickly, and like, you can get Lionheart, which is Squall's like ultimate move. You can actually get that in disc 1, and there are people that have done that, and I wish I would have done that, because that would have been so cool. I would have been just knocking out enemies so fast, bro. All right, let's jump to the graphics. I've always been amazed with the visuals of the Final Fantasy series, especially during the heyday of the late 90s and early 2000s. And the CGI scenes in this game are so good. Look, I love Final Fantasy VII, but the CGI quality and the cinematic scene quality jump from 7 to 8, bro, this shit is off the chains. And the thing is, like, I thought the CGI and the cinematic scenes were fine, you know, for a while. I thought it was good, right, for a while. Until you hit the city of Esther. Esther is a city that's hidden by a cloaking device. So like, when you finally find it, there is this big cinematic reveal that is so jaw-dropping. And Esther is probably the best designed city in the entire game. I was like, wow, this is amazing. It was like this futuristic like city. And it seemed like from that point on, Final Fantasy VIII was on their A game when it came to the visuals. The visuals were, again, fucking stunning. I'm still amazed by it. We're in 2026. This game came out in what, 2000, 99, 2000? This shit looked good to me still. You know, like the scenes with the sorceress Adele being freed from the moon, the lunar cry, you know, Renoa in space, and then Squall going to save her and stuff. And then, like, you know, of course, Eyes on Me, which is the best scene of the game. I don't know, in the end was so good visually. I don't know, like, I didn't check the budgeting, but I don't know if like they had a bigger budget than Final Fantasy VII, because 8 and 9, I think, were being developed at the same time. But it looked like they had a bigger budget. Or if whatever budget they did, they put a lot into the cinematic scenes, and they hit a home run. That shit was really fucking good. I hate that I'm comparing so much from 7 to 8, because I did not only is it like the one after 7, I also just played 7 a few months ago, before playing 8. And I'm not sure, it's like something that I'm glad that they fixed. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what you call it. It's like the fixed dialogue scenes. I don't know if I'm making up a term. It's like in Final Fantasy VII, like you can miss a lot of dialogue with certain characters if they are not in your party, right? And I think with Final Fantasy VIII, they do a lot less of that. There are many times that the entire group is not together, and so like groups are split off. Especially that missile-based mission. I think also when they were in prison, so it gave other characters time to shine and dialogue within the story, because there could be a long time where certain characters, cannot say something outside of maybe if they have like a character arc or whatever, like Sid did with Rocket Town or Red 13 and Cosmo Canyon. But I think in this game, they did a better job with, having the group split up and giving like them time to shine on their own, and not like you have to rely on you putting them into the party for them to say something. Now, even though they did that better, the cast as a whole for Final Fantasy VIII, thought it was a step down. I thought they were okay. Like I thought it could have been better. I thought Zell, or Cash App, like to call him, I thought Zell was funny. I like Zell. Zell was actually kind of funny. But I don't know. This group was just, they were good. They were okay. But like, I don't know. Something wasn't doing it for me. Now, going to the villain side with Cypher, I felt like I was expecting more from that. Cypher is Squall's rival, pretty much, in Balam Garden. And he somehow gets possessed by the sorceress, and then he becomes sort of a bad guy. And he's a big player throughout the game. But for some reason, I felt like I needed more from him. And I was a little disappointed. And I felt a little let down, because I think there was still more there they could have explored with Cypher. And I don't know. I was left a little disappointed by that. Like, I think they tried giving character development to people. Like, I know they tried something with Selphie and Trabia Garden, and they tried with, they did stuff with Irvine with not being able to shoot Edia and at the parade. But like, I think they could have done better with the character arcs. Maybe that could have done something for me, but like, I don't know, I just felt a little let down in the cast department. They just weren't connecting with me as much as I would like. And I don't know if it might be the orphanage twist, but it definitely made it worse. I just wasn't a big fan of, hey, we all knew each other, at an orphanage. We all went to the same orphanage and had the same matron or whatever, and the GFs, the Guardian Forces, made us lose our memory. I don't know. Something about that I just was not fucking with. I was like, nah. I just wasn't feeling that, bro. I was like, I don't know about that one. I did like Laguna. I think the little mystery box of figuring out who Laguna was and why they were going back in time. I like that mystery box thing. Not only the orphanage thing that I had a problem with, but near the end when you finally meet Laguna, I wasn't, again, info dumping. I was not a big fan of the Laguna info dump near the end of the game, because he was just dumping all this information on you. And I just like, there's got to be a better way to do this. But I did like Laguna. I think he was kind of an antithesis to Squall, where like Squall is more like, of course, a loner, quiet and stuff like that, moody. And Laguna is more goofy and funny and a little personable. I think Laguna was more personable than Squall was, so they were kind of opposites. So having Squall for a certain time, then you jump to Laguna and his team, and then just doing whatever. And it was kind of interesting for a while to try to figure out what their tie was, and to Alone, and how they're able to go back in time. So for most of the time, it was really interesting. And the battle theme, his battle theme was just fucking slap, bro. Now, I know I said I was let down from like from a character standpoint, but I will say I like Squall more than I did when I played 10 years ago. I just do. And as I said earlier, I said Squall is incredibly annoying. And he's still incredibly annoying. Dude is still annoying, y'all. But I think this time I gave him more of a chance. I was a little less dismissive. Maybe I just knew what was coming since I played it before. I gave him more of a chance, and paid a little bit more attention to him. Like, he's annoying, right? But like, he's also the most talented mercenary, student mercenary, or whatever at Garden, excuse me. And like, he's a loner, like very stoic dude. Like, he doesn't let people get close to him, you know, because he's like, hey, what's the point? What's the point of getting close? You know, you're gonna be left all alone. You know, I don't want to be with around anybody. It's just me. But people are gonna leave. Yada yada yada. Also, very rude guy. I'm not asking you to say anything. I just want you to listen. Then go talk to a wall. Jesus Christ. Damn, that is mean. And there's a lot of thinking from Squall's perspective in this game. There's a lot of dialogue of Squall just thinking, like overthinking really. He's very much in his head. He's always thinking about stuff. Now, I think they did some of that with Cloud in Final Fantasy VII. Like, he was also a loner. He also was somebody who had to rely on his team and rely on Tifa and open up and stuff. But I think with Squall, I think they explore this a little bit more and spend a little bit more time on it. And I that is something that I appreciate. You know, like seeing him at the orphanage, you know, waiting for Sis to come back, Alone to come back. And like, I don't think she does come back. Him being out in the rain, like, where's Sis? Like, where's Sis? And things like that. And, you know, he's alone for a long time, by himself for a long time. But eventually, you know, when the game starts, he gets a team. He gets closer to them. He gets closer to Rinoa. And as the game goes on, he realizes how much they mean to him. Especially in times when Rinoa was unconscious or she was possessed by a sorceress. Like, he realized in those moments, like, what he had. And he's like, oh no, Rinoa! Like, I had someone that cared about me, and like, now she's unconscious, and now I can lose her. You know? And like, right after you defeat Ultimecia, Squall is stuck in that, I guess everybody was stuck in that, like, time compression. And he was by himself. Squall was by himself. Like, he was always talking about, like, you're going to be by yourself for this time. Like, at a certain point. No one's going to stick around. So what's the point? And now he's in this time compression place, pitch black, dark, calling out for his friends, calling out for his comrades, calling out for Rinoa. And he thought being alone early in the game, before the events of the game started, he thought being alone was inevitable. And now he's like, but now he had friends. He had a lady that he loved now. And people that he wanted to let in, and that people that he cared for, and people that cared about him. And now he's in this place, and he was like, now this being by himself thing, he was like, nah. Nah, I don't want this shit no more. So like, Squall is annoying. But there is a redemption for him, and he learns that, like, there are people that care about him and that he wants to let them in, lets the lady that he loves in, and then you see that, like, he learns that throughout the game. And I think that's something that's really great about Squall in Final Fantasy VIII. So I find him a little less annoying this time around. Maybe, I don't know, maybe because I'm getting older. Maybe I'm a little bit more empathetic to people as I'm getting older now. So maybe that's what it is. All right, I'm going to jump to the music. Nobuo Uematsu, this dude was on a heater at this time, y'all. Dude was on a heater. I love the soundtrack for this game, and of course many of the Final Fantasies that he composes. You know, the battle themes, this one's really good. The boss theme is really good. Fisherman's Horizon is fantastic. I love Fisherman's Horizon. The Extreme, the final boss song, is really good. Any variation of Eyes on Me, fantastic. This dude was just in his bag, yo. And actually, just recently, John Baptiste, he had a Instagram post. He took a picture with Nobuo Uematsu, right? And he mentioned something about, like, he was an inspiration to him when he was younger, when he was starting out in music. And one, I just checked his age a few minutes ago. I didn't realize how close in age I am to John Baptiste. He's 39, I'm 37. I was like, oh my God. We're damn like the same age. I just didn't even think about how old John Baptiste was. But he was telling him, like, saying basically how he was an inspiration to him. And I actually played the flute for 8 years in grade school, from 4th grade to 12th grade. And there was a time I would find sheet music from Final Fantasy games for the flute, and I would just try to play them on my own. And was I a great flute player? You can say I was ass. But Nobuo Uematsu, man, like if you would have told me what my favorite artist was back during that time, I would have said Nobuo Uematsu. I wouldn't have said Kanye. I wouldn't have said Jay-Z. I wouldn't have said Beyonce. I wouldn't have said Nas. I wouldn't have said Lupe Fiasco. I wouldn't have said Mariah Carey. I wouldn't have said Whitney Houston. I wouldn't have said Michael Jackson. I wouldn't have said Prince. I would have probably said Nobuo Uematsu. Oh my god, like his music is so good. I still have a lot of songs on my gym playlist from like Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, I gotta put something from 6 on there, man. The music is so good. And I'm excited about 9 to hear all the songs from that again. The music has stuck with me for so long. And I don't think I've ever been that like connected to listening to one composer for so long as to this man. Like Nobuo Uematsu is always going to be on any sort of variation of gym playlist or any playlist to relax, anything, right? But yeah. Those are my thoughts of Final Fantasy VIII. It was a lot of fun. And until next time, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on the socials, and see you next time.